Yo, how's it going, guys and girls? My name's Chris and welcome to my channel, CSM Investing. Do you ever feel like you're in a rut that you just can't get out of, or that your life and finances are too much of a hassle and you sat there thinking, screw it, what's the point? Well, I've been in that exact same position, just where everything you seem to be doing isn't going right and you feel like you're not accomplishing anything at all, especially when it comes to money. See, now I was in a loop where I'd spend all my money as soon as I got it. I had nothing to show for all of the hard work that I'd been doing in my day job, and I just felt trapped, like my life was going nowhere, and I was in a worry, a constant state of worry, like, when is my next paycheck going to come through? I need it now. To say the least, I was probably one of the worst kinds of people when it came to money. When I went to university, I applied for a maintenance loan. Now, do you think that I have any of that maintenance loan left? No. So I put myself into debt, even more debt than I needed to be. For what? Because I wanted a new iPhone? Because I wanted a new Android phone? Because I wanted clothes? It was just a pointless waste of time, and what I should have really been doing is saving that money so that I actually had something behind me after I left uni, other than a worthless qualification that I've not even used. So yes, in hindsight, it was reckless and it was stupid, and I should have never done it. I'm not going to lie to you, I've never been broke, but that's because I have two very supportive parents who would always help me out in any situation if need be, which I'm extremely grateful for. Bearing in mind, I've never put them in a situation where they've needed to do that, and by no means are they rich, or especially by any sense of that word, they are nowhere near rich. But I know for a fact if I ever got into a situation where I was stuck or I just couldn't cope with anything, they'd be there to help me out. So I just wanted to give a massive shout out to my mum and dad for always being there for me. I'm sorry I went off on a bit of a tangent there, but I just wanted to put out an example where, yes, I've never been in the definition of the word broke, but I have been in a situation where my bank is crying, going, why are you spending all your money? Stop spending all your money. You don't need to spend all this money. And I got into a situation where, I probably had only 30p in my bank at one stage, and it's just not a nice situation to be in. So yeah, my issue was I was an obsessive spender, but I was able to break out of this cycle, and so can you if you follow these steps that I'm going to explain in the video, and you take on my advice. And the only things that you will need to be doing is purchasing a book. So make sure to watch till the end, as I'll drop in a key element to help you out. Now, this is the book that started it all off for me. It made me realise where I want to be by the time that I'm 30, and that magic book that actually did that for me is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Now, we have discussed this man quite a few times on this channel, as you may have heard me mention some of his ideas that he puts out in his books. But the basic premise is that he has two dads. Dad number one is an educated dad who has a good job, a good stable job, but wants his son to go into a 9-to-5 job with good pension and good benefits. Whereas dad two, he is a businessman and he has people working for him, and he suggests that having an education is good, but being a part of the rat race and only specialising in one field is what will keep you poor. Now, if you've never read this book before, can you guess which dad is the rich dad and which one is the poor? I'll give you 5 seconds to actually comment below which one you think is which. This book not only teaches you how to become financially free, but it also it breaks it down in a simple way so that way you'll understand it easier. Before this book, I didn't even know what an asset was, or even a liability when it came to money. I was so oblivious to literally anything that surrounded the topic of money. And I know that sounds stupid. There are so many people out there just like me who have no idea like the fundamentals of money, or how to deal with money, because they were never taught in school. Most of the time, it's the parents that tend to teach kids how to deal with money. If that parent hasn't got a good relationship with money, then that kid is basically screwed. So this kid's future on how it's going to deal with money all rests on the shoulders of its parents. Now that can be detrimental to their life. Before I spoil too much, I suggest if you want a book that easily breaks down how to make money work for you rather than you work for it, go buy this book. It gets a 10 out of 10 from me. The second book is more of a future reference for me, as all the skills that I've learned I'm going to put into buying my first rental property and reevaluating my own worth. And the book that's been able to do that for me is Never Split the Difference. Now, I know some of you out there aren't going to be the biggest fans of reading, but trust me when I say this, the author, Chris Ross, is a genius, like a literal genius. He used to be a former FBI agent who negotiated with terrorists and kidnappers, and some of the examples that he uses in this book are just crazy. Like, it makes what you're reading, like, it's all this informative information, but it's done in a way that's exciting, that makes you want to read more, because some of the situations this guy has been in, it will blow your mind, like, seriously. And then the way that he's able to use the information that he's learned and then put it into real life situations that me and you would get involved in. It's just a good book, and it's definitely worth your time. He states that the use of labels can ease any situation. Take, for example, if you and your partner have just had an argument, or if a loved one is upset, you can turn around, instead of being aggressive and going, "Why are you upset?" Turn around and use a label and say something like, "It seems as though you're upset," or "It seems as though I've upset you," and then just be quiet. Let the label sink in, and then just listen. It's as simple as that, but listening is a key part of this step. If you don't listen and you just tend to butt in at halfway through when someone's explaining what's wrong, this could further complicate the situation, and no one wants that. But yeah, this book is amazing, and I definitely think it's worth a read, so give it a go. This book gets an 8.5 out of 10 for me. It would be 10 out of 10, but in some sections it tends to repeat itself a bit too much for my liking. I understand if it's repeated, it's to try and make you understand how important that section is, or maybe it's repeated so that it actually sinks in. But there is a limit until you're just like, okay, you've already said this. If you're wanting to learn how the power of visualization can improve on any situation, even yours, or lead you to where you want to go, then the book that I recommend for you is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Now, this guy has been called a fraud and a scam artist and all the names under the sun, but to be honest, I don't really care. He was incredibly smart. In his book, it simply states that if you desire it, make it happen. But not only that, say it out loud every morning and every night. Put conviction in everything that you say. Believe it and it will come true. Visualize your goals and realize that failure cannot cope with persistence. If you want to be successful, then read this book and it will get you there. Now, this book gets an 8.5 out of 10 from me because some of the references are very outdated and some parts also seem slightly sexist, but that's probably because back then it was more of the man's job to bring home the money. But what can you expect from a book that was created in 1937? Even if you are female, you can take a lot of the points that Napoleon Hill discusses in this book and relate them to your own life. Just because most of the book is revolved around men in power doesn't mean it can't empower you to do something better in your own life. The last book that I'm suggesting here is How to Win Friends and Influence People. Now, this book is on the same level as Rich Dad, Poor Dad for me. This book is literally unreal. Don't be put off the name from this book. I understand that why would you want to win friends and influence people, but it's more about getting people to see your point of view as if they came to that conclusion on their own and make your view their own view. I can imagine that some of you are thinking that's manipulation, but it's not. It's not a manipulating tactic, as if your view benefits both of the parties rather than only focusing on what you want or what they want. And the methods explained in Dale Carnegie's book can be put into business life and home life. It also shows that one of the most important things to actually become an influence on people is to just listen. Now, I know it literally sounds so simple, but I can guarantee that most of the people out there, just like you, just like me, love to be heard, because we all love to talk. Who doesn't love to talk? People like to hear their own voice, hear their own name, and this book shows you that you need to focus on listening. It sounds so stupid, it sounds so simple, but it's true. Listening is what is going to get you and get other people to realise your own points. I know it sounds dumb, but it's true. So you need to allow people to be heard in order for them to realise your point of view. This is a must read if you want to become wealthy one day. And not only that, even if you are wealthy, it's still a must read, as the points in the book apply to how treating your colleagues with respect, or even creating some competitiveness in the workplace, can boost morale and even stimulate work growth. But if you are wealthy, I very much doubt that you sat there watching my videos. Anyway, this book gets a 10 out of 10 for me. Even though, like Think and Grow Rich, it's slightly outdated, but the way that he explains and some of the examples that he uses, they're much easier to follow. So yeah, that's why it gets a 10 out of 10 for me. So there you have it, my top books for a better life. Oh yeah, before I forget, if you're still here, I'm going to give you a key tip to help you along your journey. So here it is. Every time you read a chapter in a book, read it again. Now, I know I keep using the word simple, but it's because everything that I'm talking about here today is simple as long as you apply it into your own life. It's an easy way, it's a clear and cut and easy way of absorbing the information that you've just read. You could also write down any key notes that you've learnt from that chapter on sticky notes and then post them up on your walls or your doors, just like I do. My final thoughts are that even if you don't like the suggestions that I've made here today, go out and expand your knowledge. Reading is so important, and who can't spare a quick 30 minutes in the morning or even in the evening? Put down your phone and pick up a book. Learn something new. I'm Chris, and thanks for coming to my channel. Peace.